Alright, so I'd like to start today in a wide-legged child's pose. So just keeping your hips apart, we're going to come down into a child's pose. Just allowing your chest to come towards the ground gently. Feeling a little bit of a stretch through those hip joints right there. And just breathing for a moment. And when you find the space to start rocking the hips from side to side, just starting to move in a little bit into those hips. And pausing where it feels tighter. Maybe starting to draw some circles with the hips. Not lifting up or anything, still keeping the butt on the heels. Just isolating that movement to just the hips. Pausing as you go from side to side. And relaxing back down. Coming up into a tabletop, we'll take a couple of cat and cows. Breathing in and looking up. And breathing out and rounding forward. Paying special attention today to the low back. And just moving through that area very gently. So from tabletop, I'm going to extend one of my legs out straight and just plant the foot on the ground. So I'm still in a tabletop, I'm just extending one leg out. Keeping the hips still aligned, I'm going to feel just a little bit of a stretch right there in the inner thigh. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue my cat and cow breaths with the leg out. So breathing in and looking up. And breathing out. Really pausing where you start to feel that stretch. And very slowly rounding forward. One more. Grab this leg, bring it up, and we're going to start drawing some circles with the hip. So drawing a big wide circle with the knee in the outer direction. Really slowly articulating that circle. The circle can be, a little bit narrower if you need it to be, but just making it as wide as you can to really come into that muscle there. And relaxing it down. We'll come to the other side, take the left leg, extending it out, and planting that foot on the ground. Just like that. In. And out. I can feel it especially well when I go into my cow. So just really pressing into there. I'm placing a hand on my lower back just to aid that stretch there. Just enjoying it, enjoying the time here that we have together to help our body feel a little bit better, to relax a little bit in this time of uncertainty. There are still some things you can control. Okay, let's grab that leg and start to draw our circles again. We're drawing them in the outer direction. Just making nice wide circles. Beautiful. If you feel any popping or anything in your hip, as long as there's no pain, you're good to go. It's all good. Sort of a movement that we're not used to. So you might feel a little bit of some new sensations, but as long as there's no numbness or real pain, then you're good. You can continue stretching. And right back to center. We're going to widen our legs again and come into a puppy pose. My favorite. And again, isolating that stretch to draw circles with the hips. Back and forth, or side to side. I like to call it my little puppy wag. You're just wagging your butt. And since we're not focusing on the chest opening, you can even just be up here. It doesn't really matter. It's all about our hips today. Unlocking the hips unlocks a lot of different poses. It also might unlock a lot of emotions. We store a lot of old feelings and old trauma in the hips, and as we start to stretch them and feel that pain, we might start to feel some more emotions, some old emotions and some old memories that we've locked in there, and that's okay. It's part of the healing process. It's part of what yoga does for us to help us heal through our bodies. Rounding up, come into a downward dog. Coming up onto the tiptoes and back down. Up and down. One more, and if you like, a couple more times. And from here, we're going to center the left foot and raise the right foot all the way up towards the sky. Bending that top leg and sending it towards that wall behind you and extending through that that hip joint and that oblique. Continuing that bend, we'll send the leg all the way back behind us and take a foot into Wild Thing. Swirling it back around, coming up, right back into Downward Dog. The other side, sending it right back up, centering the right leg, and sending the left leg to the sky. Bending that top leg and pressing in through the hip. come to Wild Thing. We'll continue bending that top leg behind us until it touches the ground, flipping over and reaching forward. Putting the palm back down on the ground, flip your hips right back up until you're back into downward dog. You look forward and bend the knees, hopping forward into a low squat. So you're pressing the knees away from each other with the hip or with the elbows. Pressing them away from each other. Feeling that little bit of a stretch through the inner thighs. So it's a little bit in those hip joints there. Be rocking a little side to side and taking those little mini circles just with the hips. Making circles with the hips is my favorite way to really release those muscles around the hips and in the low back. Really helps just get everything warm. So lifting the hips up, we're going to come into a wide forward fold. Just really quickly. And right away, we'll come up. We're going to flip the left foot so that it's facing the front. Walk our hands forward. So we're in a triangle. Take that right back leg, flipping it forward, dropping down into a low lunge. Allowing this hip to drop as far down towards the ground as you can. You can be up here or hands on the ground. Actively extending through the hip joint. If that feels okay, you're going to bend that back leg and grab it with the same hand. So you can really, really feel that stretch right there. And if that doesn't feel good, just stay here. Doesn't matter. Take a few little bounces with that hip. With control and with intention. We're going to flex the back foot, come right back up, and coming through our forward fold, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So flipping the right leg towards the front and spinning it forward before dropping that back leg into the lunge. So your foot is right below your knee at a 90-degree angle. You can be up here, doesn't matter. But you're just allowing this front of the hip to open as much as it can. You'll notice the longer you stay in a pose, the easier it becomes. That's deep stretching. The warmer the muscle, the easier it will be to stretch. You can bend that back leg if you like. is keeping this hip, like the hip that's stretching, facing towards the ground. So it's not splaying out, or not falling over. It's facing just towards the ground. Beautiful. Flexing that back leg. Sending it right back into that forward fold. Coming up through the hip and back down. I'm going to walk my hips forward or to the center and come down to the seated position. From here, I'm going to place my feet together into a butterfly position. Taking some nice, slow, deep circles here. Pausing especially at the front, where you can feel it really on that outer hip and in the hip joint. Take the hands, press the knees down towards the ground as far as you can, and press the chest forward. Gently coming out. I'm going to place one knee in front of me at a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to grab the other knee and place it right on top, exactly at a 90-degree angle as well. So the knee is right over the foot, and the foot is right over the knee. Like so they're stacked. Keeping the feet flexed. And do the same thing. And I'm going to send the chest forward. Really breathing through here, because I know it's a pretty intense stretch. And we'll flip sides. Stacking foot on top of knee, knee on top of foot. Feet are flexed. Breathe in and extend forward. Remember, the longer you stay, the easier it'll get. Breathing in, we'll come back up and release the hips. Coming onto our back. I'm going to hug my knees to my chest to feel a little bit of a release in the low back. I'm going to draw circles with my knees so that I'm massaging the low back a little bit. Massaging it with the floor. And switching your direction and drawing circles in the other direction. going side to side. I'm going to send both knees all the way to the right side while I'm looking over my left, extending my left arm and placing it on the ground for a little bit of a supine twist. Bringing them back up. And do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to send both knees to touch the floor while I twist to the other side. Feel that beautiful release in the low back. And coming back to center, I'm going to plant my feet on the ground. And I'm going to lift just my hips up towards the sky, feeling a little bit of a stretch through that psoas. And just pressing with my hands on my lower back. Pressing the hips towards the sky. Maybe giving that low back a little bit of a massage at the same time. And just breathing. As we exhale, we'll lower the hips to the ground. And from here, I'll go back into that butterfly stretch. Just grabbing the ankles so I'm drawing those hips towards me from in the butterfly. From there, I'm going to grab the inner part of my feet, and I'm going to press them down into a happy baby. Grabbing and pressing the knees towards the outside of your hips. Happy baby. I'm going to place the feet back together and coming down into a reclining goddess. So your feet are in a butterfly position and your hips are open. And just relaxing and breathing here. Noticing those new sensations in the hips. And giving yourself a little bit of a massage on the front of them. I like to do the massage right in that hip crease. Feels especially nice.